Hello everyone, welcome to my visual demonstration for my Advanced Database Systems Laboratory series. Today we are going to see about about the ninth exercise, and the ninth exercise is PLSQL, which means procedural language SQL. So in this exercise, so what is PLSQL? It is meant for it's a block structured language. It is you can you can program SQL once again to perform a specific task. So that is the intended purpose of doing PLSQL. So you can there are three ways of doing it. It's by procedure, and there is a header and a body and the appropriate syntax as to how to go about it. And then we have the PLSQL trigger for putting triggers and something similar to doing functions and procedures. And last but not the least, we have PLSQL functions. So these are the things that we are going to explore right now in this exercise. So moving on, without any further delay, let's get started. So we are using Oracle database for doing PLSQL, the same database, no any other software. So the first question, create a simple trigger that does not allow insert, update, or delete operations on supplier table. So let me just connect. Alright, so I initially have, in the very first exercise, we have created a lot of databases. So in that is where we have mentioned the supplier table. So likewise, the same schema is what we are referring from the first exercise and using it here. So moving on, let's finish up the first query. So I've written all the queries in a notepad, and I don't want to waste time typing it manually from scratch in the command prompt so as to finish this video. So I'm gonna just copy paste the queries to save time. So moving on, let's paste the first query and enter. So the trigger is created. First question was to create a trigger to avoid that insert or any kind of update operations. So to check it out, I'm just gonna put the insert query here. So executing this, we get an error. So that's because we have asserted a trigger over here. That's the reason why asserting trigger prevents from inserting or any kind of updation queries to be, forced onto a relational database. So that's the intended purpose. Okay, moving on, the next question. Create a trigger that raises a user-defined error message and does not allow updating the order table. So here we go, the next set. I'll copy this and paste it here, enter. So the trigger is created. So I forgot to read this thing. It's create or replace trigger 1 before insert or update or delete. So these are the ones which we are preventing on supplier table, begin, rollback, and end. So that's how we do place a trigger. Again, once more, we are just asserting a trigger for another question. That is what create or replace trigger T4, that's a trigger name, before update, to prevent update on supplier table. For each row, declare except exception, begin, raise exception, when except, then raise application error, don't update, end. So that way we are going to prevent an update operation from happening on this table. So what we can see here, once again, since we have prevented that, is why when I'm trying to update it's showing me an error. So that way that is the second question is done. So that's what we are doing. Moving on, third question. Write a PLSQL script to display the product names whose order quantity is greater than 10 using cursors. So here we are, and copy this and paste it here, and so it's a procedure. So declare cursor is select PID from supplier where quantity is greater than 2. temp worker 240 begin. It's a loop over here. Fetch cur into temp. Exit when cur not found, and then it cannot be found. So that's where this procedure has been. This is the intended condition that has been asked in the question. So select where the quantity is greater than 2. So that is what it's trying to calculate here in this query. Moving on. Create a trigger to warn when the supplied quantity is greater than ordered quantity. So copy this and paste. Enter. Trigger created. So the question is to warn if the quantity is greater. Greater than the ordered quantity. So what we can see here is begin if new quantity is not equal to new quantity, then dbm is output put line error, and referencing new as new, old as old. So that's what you see in this query over here. That's what the intended meaning of this question is. Next question. Write a trigger to update the order table whenever the customer ID is updated in the customer table. So, right. Copy and paste. Enter. So, update orders, set customer ID, new customer ID, where customer ID equals old customer ID. So that's the condition. That's what's been told in the question. And the rest of the syntax structure, where create or where we are assigning a trigger, is similar to the previous queries that you have seen. So that's the syntax, and that's the structure and the answer to this query being asked. Right? Moving on, 6th question. Write a PLSQL procedure that will accept the product ID from user, check if the product is supplied by the supplier, and display the status. So I'm going to copy this and paste. Oh, okay, I have an error. 1 minute, I'll just pause this and check what the error is. Okay, what actually happened here is status is declared over here, and it's not even a column inside my supplier table. So, but this is the correct way of going about the question that's being asked, to write a procedure as such. So this is the right procedure, and since I don't have a status column in my supplier table, is the reason why I'm getting this error. So I rechecked it, and I don't know what else is causing the error, but I'll have to speculate it soon. But this for sure is the intended answer for the question being asked in the exercise. Moving on with the next question. Alright. Write a procedure to calculate total price for the product that has been supplied and pass the supplier ID as the argument. So copy this. Copy. Okay, I'll just pause this once again. Okay, it's successfully executed. I'm going to just show it once again. It's a long list of codes, so here I'm just copying it again, and I'm going to paste it here. So once again, it's successfully implemented. The error was in the column names that I declared. So this comes out right. So this is the answer. So this block, and then another function over here, and then the last function here. So that is the answer to the query that I've executed. Alright, so 1 minute, I'll just pause this video. Okay, so that was the seventh question. All right. Now moving on, we are moving on to the eighth question. So the eighth question is here, and let's open the terminal as well. So eighth question is, alright, is procedure to raise quantity which increases the quantity of the ordered product. It accepts an order ID and quantity to be increased. It uses order ID to find the current quantity from order table and update the quantity. So moving on with the query, yeah, it starts right here. Oops, sorry. Copy, paste. Oh, okay. I'll just sort this out as well. I'm getting an error, so I'll just pause this once, can correct the error and then get back to you. Okay, it's been corrected, and the mistakes were, again, I just mentioned the column names a little wrong. So here and there I corrected it, and I got the output. I'm just gonna paste it again. I'm gonna press enter. So it's successfully executed. So that was the question which I read earlier, and that's the function that's a procedure call that I've written over here. And to raise the quantity, so this is the function raise quantity, and with the parameters and the the intended operation that it needs to perform, and that's it. That's the answer to the query. So it's been successful. Moving on, we are moving on to the ninth question. Write a PLSQL function status to return value supplied if the product number passed to it is available in the supply table, else will not return not supplied. So moving on. Alright. Okay, and that's it. Copy, paste, enter. Okay, it's a small mistake. Again, I'll correct it right here itself. It's in line number 3. So product ID. Yes, I have given it as PID. So save this, and I'm gonna just execute it. Copy, and then straight away execute. Yes, it's successfully executed. So this is the answer, and it came out right. So that's the answer to the query. The question that I read, so which is not supplied and supplied, that's the function over here, and then the rest of the function. So that's it. Now moving on, we have the last question, the grand finale. Write a function to return the product name when the product ID is passed as the argument. So I'm going to copy this and paste, enter. Okay, again an error. So DESC, it's a column. These are just column name mistakes. I just made mistakes in that. So you just gotta check the names of the column. I mean, as to what it is. I've written pro description. It's product description. So I guess I'll just correct it here. It's product UCT underscore description. Alright, so copy this and paste, enter. Okay, again, one more error. Line 3, it's product ID. Okay, from product underscore ID. That's it. And copy, paste, enter. Yes, it's executed. So that's the answer, people. That's the answer. So here right now, since it's over, we come to the end of this visual demonstration. Thank you for watching the visual demonstration on my Advanced Database Systems Laboratory series in PLSQL. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Bye bye.